Hey, it's Ryan here. I've got 3 things quickly that I'm just gonna explain about the BC assessment that I think you should know, and I think maybe you might not have realized. Now, number 1 is that this value is given on one day of the year, or at least taken on one day of the year, which is July the 1st each year. Which means, if the market has changed at all since July the 1st, then your BC assessment is no longer a representation of what your home is worth today, in today's market. So keep that in mind. It's only a snapshot as of July the 1st each year. Now, number 2 is that the valuation is based on external factors around you, comparable properties that have sold near you, and some other external things, such as the overall, it could be that your house might have a view, things of that nature. Most important are the comparable sales in your neighborhood. So this is one thing that people don't realize, is that if you want to argue your BC assessment, you can't specifically argue simply that it's gone up too much. You have to argue that it's gone up more than the comparable sales, more than your neighbors. So they made in other words, they made a mistake. 10 properties that are all very similar to each other, and one happens to be assessed far higher than the other 9. And if that's your property, then you might have some grounds to make an appeal. But you can't simply argue it just because everything went up. So keep that in mind. Now, number 3 is that just because your property value might have gone up doesn't mean your taxes owed that year is gonna go up by the same degree. And the reason is because there's something in there called the tax rate or the mill rate that you need to multiply the value of your property by to get the actual taxes that you owe. And now here's the thing that people don't realize, is that the tax rate that the city puts onto your property each year actually can go down. The actual rate could drop, which means that if your property, hypothetically, the value of your property could rise, and yet you owe the same amount of tax, or maybe even less, if the tax rate has dropped more than your property value has risen on a percentage basis. So keep that in mind. Not a lot of people realize that it's not a direct relation, that as soon as your property value goes up, your taxes owed goes up. And just so you know, the tax rate, for example, in Richmond, has actually decreased from 2015 to about 2018. 4 years, the tax rate has actually slowly declined. So there you have it. There's 3 things to think about with your BC assessment. If you have any questions, of course, always send me an email, message, or phone call, and I'll talk to you real soon. Thanks very much. Bye.